Here we go, folks. I have got tons of breaking news today. I got lots of good news, lots of information, lots of things going on. Couldn't cover it all. It is just information overload here at the house when it comes down to the news. I listen to it all day at work. And then I come home and I do as much research as I can. And by the time I get my video ready, there's already been four or five more things happen, or another dozen executive orders signed, or something. It's just nonstop with Trump. He's negotiating with these other countries left and right. Today we have got breaking news. Mexico and Canada, as of about an hour or so ago, they both now agreed to put 10,000 troops on the border on each end. And Canada is going to set up a job position called the Border Czar, or not the Border Czar, the Fentanyl Czar, someone that is actually like a department to help try to crack down on the fentanyl problem in Canada and coming into America. Great plan. Kind of getting ahead of myself here, folks, but we have got tons and tons of good news and breaking news. So stick around. People are getting fired left and right. I'll start with this video, this clip right here. Got a little bit of reading to do, but definitely, FBI is taking it on the chin today. Usaid is taking it on the chin. If you don't know much about Usaid, I'll teach you a little something about it, or show you a few clips that explain a little bit about it. Another one of those NGOs taking advantage of the government, but it's fully government funded, and they're spending stuff on DEI programs and musicals in other countries, and they done got busted. That was a little earlier today, but we're gonna go through all that together. First, let's go ahead and get down here and let me get some of my reading done. So here we go. Names of FBI officials who worked on January 6th cases in Trump investigation identified. This dropped just hour or so ago, less than an hour. So the names of the FBI officials who worked on January 6th case in Trump witch hunts have been identified. According to NBC News, there were more than 2,400 cases in total. Jesus. The FBI's officials who worked on the J6 cases and Trump investigations were identified by a case management system. I love it. I love it. There are reportedly 5,000 employees who have been identified as subject to potential firing. Cleaning out my closets. I love it. I love it. Per NBC reporter, news reporter Ken DeLeon, an international document obtained by NBC News shows that executives use this FBI Sentinel case file management system to identify agents, employees who worked on the J6 case. The document says there were around 2,400 in total investigations in total. The document says in search of the case files says the document says the search of case files was used to generate a list of names who then received the survey asking them exactly what they did on each case on these cases. Good news, we're going to get the details. This is being viewed within the FBI as a retribution mission. So we're going to find out about those FBI guys that went out of their way to weaponize the government against these J6ers, and maybe even done some other nefarious things involved with, the rayups and stuff like that. Maybe we'll find some of that paper trail. Who knows? But truth be known, we're going down that rabbit hole now, and we got some numbers. All righty. Says FBI Director Brian Disco is reportedly refusing to give up the names of the officials involved on the J6 cases and in the Trump investigations. Brian Driscoll is currently serving as acting FBI director as Trump's nominee Cash Patel awaits his confirmation. So that ain't going to last very long. It says, according to an email from acting director Brian Driscoll and viewed by the Gateway Pundit, each field office is required to submit a list of all personnel, current and former, who were involved in the J6 investigation prosecutions by noon on Tuesday, the 4th. However, it was reported that over the weekend that Brian Driscoll is on thin ice because he refused to deliver a list of officials involved in the witch hunt on the Trump political prosecution of J6s as well. There are reports that FBI agents are planning to protest on Monday at the Washington, D.C. headquarters. What are they going to do? Get some picket signs? Last week, heads rolled on Washington field offices and Miami offices after Trump fired nearly 90 FBI officials. It's happening, folks. Heads are rolling. It's up to 90 agents. It says important classification 88 is the number of FBI agents and top managers who actually were walked out of their offices today, including those in Washington field offices, Palm Beach, Miami, FBI offices. That number also includes special agents in charge of various field offices. Up to 90 agents are being told to resign, retire, or be fired. Many are GS 13 who carried out work on order from senior executive services bosses, sources tell me. Cleaning it up. They taking them out, and that ain't the only thing going on today, folks. Stick around. It is gonna be a crazy one. It's almost like too much. I can't complain, but it's almost like too much. I think he did 8 executive orders, maybe 10 today. This right here is the best one. Trump to signs executive order to withdraw the U.S. from the UN Human Rights Council. So we ain't got to pay no dues to be a part of that. Don't even want to go there. That's good. He pulled out of UN on his first go round. Didn't hurt us none. We're paying for all the Ukraine crap all the way up to this point. Where's the UN? When it comes right down to it, we put most of the bill, and China reaps most of the rewards of the protection of the UN. It's just a bad deal, and so I'm glad he has done that again. That's good news, folks. Believe it or not, Trump is just knocking things out left, right, left, right. It is crazy how fast he's knocking things out. He's got this morning the Mexican president. Let me just read you this. Is breaking after begging President Trump on the phone. Justin Trudeau will now deploy 10,000 Canadian troops to protect the American border, and Canada will also have a fentanyl czar. Like Mexico, the tariffs will be postponed for a month. This is a maximum level folding. So Trump says, I'll give you a month to prove it. I love it. I love it. Trump is in beast mode, folks, and the whole world knows it. He is ruffling some feathers and shaking stuff up. And they coming through and cleaning house, full investigation into Usaid as well. And we'll get into that here just directly. But Customs and Border, another piece of great news. Customs and Border Protection deputized Texas National Guard, allowing them to assist with and facilitate the mass deportation of illegal aliens. Customs and Border Protection, Border Patrol, deputizing the National Guard, so we got more help. Awesome, awesome. I am loving it. I am loving it. We are shoring this. We are shoring our country up in 9 ways from Sunday. There is no doubt about it. Now, this is how hard Elon is. This is what kind of mission Elon is on. You know, when he puts his all into something, he puts his all into something. When he wants to build something like a project, he don't quit till he gets it. He's like a machine, and he expects his workforce to be like a machine too. And I've heard that about people that from people that work at Tesla and SpaceX. But cost they are cost cutting around the clock, is what Elon Musk says. Doji is putting in 120-hour work weeks, no days off, while bureaucrats opposing his work barely clock 40 hours a week. And they don't even get 40 hours a week. Most bureaucrats stay at home half the time or out on leisure. Yep, Doge is working 120 hours a week. Very few in the bureaucracy actually work the weekend, so it's like the opposing team just leaves the field for 2 days. Working the weekend is a superpower. Uh, Mario Nawfall, somebody else I follow, says Doji is speed running government reform. 4 billion a day cuts could start this weekend. Bureaucracy never saw it coming. No, they never did saw it coming. We are changing things on every level, folks. Now, I don't know if you know much about this USIP situation or if you're following it. Let me just read you a little bit about it, and I got some short video clips about it as well. It says Trump says he is rooting out the radical lunatics at USAID while Musk slams the agency for spending taxpayer funds on bioweapons research, including the COVID, all kinds of crazy stuff. This is, I believe, the deep states one way of getting Congress to slide money into projects to fund crap in other countries that has no and pet projects that has no favorable interest for America as a whole. And I've said this about UNICEF and USAID and several of these agencies, no doubt about it, are just rotten to the core. Maybe they started out with good intentions, and somewhere along the way they get into helping ballot harvest, um, human traffic people from one side of the planet to our country, and so many other things. And just wasteful spending is the main thing. And it's also it's not an NGO. It's actually funded by our government, and so that shit's got to stop. Matter of fact, Marco Rubio said he was talking to Congress, or while he was in Congress, he was talking to these guys from USAID, and they would ask him questions like, "What are you spending the money on? What are you going to get out of the money?" And trying to find out how much money was it. And you said just cockblocked him the whole way and said none of your business. We don't answer to you, and that stopped this week. That's over now. That shit got exposed in a hurry. And I'm going to show you. We got a couple clips about this. Trying to talk fast. Got a lot to do. Lot to get through here today. Says you said the foreign aid agency that may see as a front for CIA activity, like I said, is being radically dismantled by U.S. President Donald J. Trump. His doji led by Elon Musk. Two top officials were put out on leave after trying to keep Musk's team from accessing classified information. Yeah, we're not going to let you look at the stuff. Bullshit. Soon, both the ex social media accounts with 1 million followers and also the website have disappeared. You said it's off of they done shut off Twitter. Oh, that's good. Well, site can't be reached. We're going to play this short little clip of Trump speaking about you said, but breaking you said senior officials put out on leave are physically trying to stop Doji from accessing the agency systems. Two USAID officials, John Voorhees and his deputy, were put out on leave late Saturday after refusing to allow Doji members into the building and into the systems. Listen here. Short clip. Get me out of the way. Any day now. Sorry, folks.
What's going on there?
Well, it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out. USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
There we go. Like you said, we got to fix it. And there's just the amount of money that's going to be exposed flowing through this agency is just ridiculous. And you're fixing to see just a few of the wasteful spending. And we do have a couple clips of the crying Democrats because they're mad as shit. This is their slush fund, and it is, I guess, uh, appropriated by Congress, but actually benefits the deep state. Go figure. Can you say lobbyist? Now here's Caroline Levitt, and I listen to the statistics that she talks about here. I mean, the statistics alone are just nuts. Listen, she's talking about USAID as well.
Here's the reason why Elon Musk and others have been taking a look, because if you look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, guys.
And that is just a crumb of the. It's going to be a massive list of things that we just don't need to be involved in, don't need to spend money on. And the DEI will be the easy kill, will be the easy pickings. But I'm sure there's waste in so many ways. We're giving money away like we don't have a debt. Now, Marco Rubio, he said he has taken over as the director of Usaid in this video. That's what makes this video so good. But he also says he putting somebody in to handle it. I guess putting somebody in the position as well. So at this very moment, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has taken over as acting director of USAID. Check it out, folks. This is so good. Let me get down here to it. All righty. What's going on with my buttons today?
Well, look, I mean, my frustration with USAID goes back to my time in Congress. It's a completely unresponsive agency. It's supposed to respond to policy directives of the State Department, and it refuses to do so. So the functions of USAID, there are a lot of functions of USAID that are going to continue, that are going to be part of American foreign policy, but it has to be aligned with American foreign policy. I said very clearly during my confirmation hearing that every dollar we spend and every program we fund, that will be aligned with the national interest of the United States. And USAID has a history of sort of ignoring that and deciding that there's somehow a global charity separate from the national interest. These are taxpayer dollars. And so I'm very troubled by these reports that they've been unwilling to cooperate with people who are asking simple questions about what does this program do, who gets the money, who are our contractors, who's funded, and that sort of level of insubordination makes it impossible to conduct the sort of mature and serious review that I think foreign aid writ large should have. We're spending taxpayer money here. These are not donor dollars. These are taxpayer dollars, and we owe the American people the assurances that every dollar we are spending abroad is being spent on something that furthers our national interest. And so
That's
far,
right.
a lot of the people that work at USAID have just simply refused to cooperate.
Are you currently in charge of USAID, or are you acting?
I'm the acting director of USAID. I've delegated that authority to someone, but I stay in touch with him. And again, our goal was to go in and align our foreign aid to the national interest. But if you go to mission after mission and embassy after embassy around the world, you will often find that in many cases, USAID is involved in programs that run counter to what we're trying to do in our national strategy with that country or with that region. That cannot continue. USAID is not an independent, non-governmental entity. It is an entity that spends taxpayer dollars, and it needs to spend it, as the statute says, in alignment with the policy directives that they get from the Secretary of State, the National Security Council, and the President. And it's been 20 or 30 years where people have tried to reform it.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my buttons today, folks. I'm having some kind of weird issue. It's like my button is sticking maybe on my pad. Always having technical issues. That's fun. Maybe a little noisy in my background. I got my front door open. It is a beautiful, about 80 degrees today here in Waco, Texas. Before we get into these crying liberals, I do want to tell y'all that a lot of these protests you've seen in LA and these big cities where you got the Spanish people with the Spanish flag marching in the streets and blocking traffic. Well, they're having a protest here in Waco as well, have been for a week or two. I'm going to go down there this weekend and cover some of that live. And at this point, we have people on one side of Valley Mills, which is the main drag here, and then they're the Trump supporters with their Trump flags out, and then you got the people on the other side of Valley Mills that got their Spanish flags out, and they're had the news out there a couple of times complaining about the fact that nobody wants to be deported and breaking up the families and the whole nine yards. You know the story. But I kind of wanted to go out there and maybe talk to all those. Not wearing my Trump hat that day, or keep it in my pocket for a minute or whatever. But I want to go over there and see if I can talk to both sides and get a little bit of reaction. We'll probably do that this weekend, most likely. But yeah, I seen it on the news yesterday. There was a huge crowd on both sides. I'm supporting deportation, supporting illegals. So it's happening here too, folks. But they're not at this point. They're not blocking traffic here. They know better in this town. They'll go to jail in Waco. They try that crap. That is no doubt. They don't play in Waco. I can tell you that for a fact. All right, here we go. Here's crazy Ilhan Omar crying about this Usaid defunding. And here we go with a little bit of spool. All right, now my mute's on. I do not know what's going on with my buttons. I think my buttons are sticking. That or I'm having a slow internet today.
It is really a sad day in America. We are witnessing a constitutional crisis. We talked about Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one, and here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like. When you gut the Constitution and you install yourself as the sole power, that is how dictators are made. What Trump and Elon and all of their cronies are trying to do is take away the constitutional power of Congress. We get to decide. We have the power of the purse. We get to decide where money is allocated, and it's the executive's power to make sure that that money gets to where it needs to get. When we talk about civil servants being let go, what we are talking about is not saving money. It's essentially saying they can get paid while they're home and their work doesn't get done on behalf of the American people. It is
No,
us,
no, no, no. No, we're going to find somebody better.
taxpayers, who are being ripped off.
Do your job. It's enough of her. I can't do too much of that. She's annoying to me. I'm sorry, folks. I tried. Well, I got another couple of annoying ones for you too. That's why I didn't want to choke you out on her. I know y'all don't like too much MSNBC or Ilhan Omar's and stuff, but figure I'd give y'all a little Chuck Schumer, a little Ilhan today, a couple crybabies. Listen to this statement here. It says this is what Behizzi says about it. It says, I can't believe the words that just come out of Chuck Schumer's mouth. Made me want to watch the video. Before our very eyes, an unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government. That's what Chuck Schumer is saying about what's going on now. Trump is now a shadow government. Does Chuck Schumer actually know all the bureaucrats are being kicked out of, are unelected and shadow? Also, how is Doge operating in the shadows when the leader of it's posting constantly and hosting X spaces talking about what he's doing? Yeah, it's totally transparent. That's he just shot Chuck Schumer down in two or three of his statements. Yeah, this is about as transparent as anything I've ever seen when it comes to government. Folks, we've had a wonderful month so far. This has been the best January I think I've ever been through as far as seeing what's happening to our country.
Before our very eyes, an unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government. Friday night, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, led by billionaire Elon Musk, gained access to the Treasury Department's entire system of payments, including Social Security and Medicare benefits and Americans' tax refunds. I'll say more on this in a moment. But that was not all. This weekend, Doge staffers also executed what can only be described as an illegal seizure of the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. We don't know who these Doge staffers are. We don't know if they have security clearances. We don't know what legal authority they have to access
Why don't you ask?
USAID facilities, if any. before our very eyes, an unelected.
They had authority. Trump put him in the position with the department that they grew, built, created to do just that very thing, to put eyes on everything. They want to audit every. He wants. Elon Musk wants to audit every dollar that is spent via government and see where it's all going and see where he can trim the fat and find ways to save us money. Once they get done cutting all the waste out, the obvious waste and the crookedness and the scamming and the bullshit and the stuff that they're going to cry about, then it gets down to, well, how can we trim the edge, a little bit of fat off this and a little bit of fat off that to trim stuff down once we get all the trash out. Right now, we're exposing the fraud and the waste, and it's just getting started. Every single agency that is being found out since Trump has been back in office, being found out for being too DEI or too incompetent, too crooked, too unable to balance a budget. They're all getting caught, every single one of them, and I love it. So, Crimea River Truck Humor with your lying ass BS. Lies, lies, lies. Says we'll go down here and I'll show you a little Jamie Raskin. I know y'all like that guy too. Three of the worst Democrats to ever step in Congress. Finally, here we go. No, I don't want to look at her no more. All right, we'll go down. Here we go. Now, I don't know what their protesting and complaints is actually going to do, considering he's the president.
Elon
So,
Musk, you didn't create Usaid. The United States Congress did for the American people. And just like Elon Musk did not create Usaid, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. We're going to stop him. Elon Musk, you may have illegally seized power over the financial payment systems of the United States Department of Treasury, but you don't control the money of the American people. The United States Congress does that under Article 1 of the Constitution.
he could freeze that money because it's under investigation.
And just like the president who is elected to something cannot impound the money of the people, we don't have a fourth branch of government called Elon Musk. And that's going to become real clear.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do, Jamie Ratskin? It has been a great day. The Democrats are gnashing the teeth, and Trump is dropping more executive orders than I can keep up with, including doing things on a world stage, shuffling around the whole tariff situation to where they got 30 days to capitulate as long as we see the 10,000 troops on the border. That's a start, folks. I'm glad. Now, this here is something, a statement that Kyle Becker, one of the guys I follow, put out, and it's just I've said this many times on my channel. I complain about the NGOs helping steal our elections. I complain about the NGOs when they help flood our country with illegals. They are a huge part of the problem, and Usaid is a monstrous, uh, one of these monstrous organizations that feeds these NGOs. Says, hell, if I were president, I would be highly tempted to just raid these NGOs for criminal racketeering, including harboring illegal aliens, election interference, promoting official corruption, and all of the rest of it under RICO statute. And I could think of a couple more crimes as well, but I'll just leave it at that. But I think he was absolutely right on that. And I think they will. This is just the first, and this is just the beginning. But we're not going to let the Democrat Party through Congress support NGOs to help ballot harvest. We're not going to do it anymore. That shit's over. And we're not going to have anybody helping anybody get in this country illegally with tax dollars. That ship has sailed, folks. We're in such good shape, folks. Now, this here's the last video clip of the day, folks. Didn't mean to make this so long. This thing stopped spooling. We'll play it, but this thing is hilarious. Let me get me out of the way here. Like, subscribe, and share to Vote Patriots. Hopefully, everybody's having a great day. I'm going to pull myself out of here so y'all can actually see the video instead of me. Over and out. So good. Wait for it. I apologize. Something's wrong with the sound. All right, we're going to try this again. Guess I'm having slow internet issues, folks, today. I apologize. We'll try this again.
The shield is down. Commence attack on the Death Star's main reactor.
We're on our way. Red group, gold group, all fighters follow me. I told you they'd do it.
Thought it was too good not to share. Everybody have a great one. Over and out.